All right, guys. Well, yeah, my name is Jason, aka JayBird, and I'll give you a brief intro here before we dive in. And basically, I am first and foremost, of course, myself, a producer and a DJ. I've been producing for a little over 10 years, but really just seriously the last 3 or 4 years with, signing to labels, playing shows, career taking off, and stuff like that. I spent a long time making bass music, melodic dubstep, melodic bass, future bass, trap, even. And then, like, about 2, 3 years ago, I switched to house music. So, mainly focusing on making house myself at this point, tech house, minimal house, disco house, things along those lines. And then, of course, outside of my own production, I also am the co-owner, co-founder of the BirdHouse Records. So our label we just launched earlier this year, and first year did pretty well. Just saw the stats. We had just about 400,000 streams total across all our releases. I think we put out 12 tracks this year. So so far so good. We had songs get on Tool Room Radio. Actually, one of the songs was mine. Got on Tool Room Radio. We had other songs get downloaded by like Don Diablo. Who else? A list of DJs. So the label's doing well, up and running. Um, then, aside from that, also I am the founder and the runner of the Birdhouse Flock community, which is really just a community about helping other producers consistently finish quality songs. So I'm here to give people feedback, help people, whether it's with the music or the business stuff, the career. I know how it is as an artist. My vision here is to help give people guidance from somebody who's actually out there in the trenches doing this stuff, not just somebody who claims to know a lot about the industry, but I'm just one of you guys, just doing it my own way and figuring things out. So I'm happy to answer questions, help point people in the right directions, and then of course main thing we're here to do today is give feedback on some tracks. So yeah, we'll be getting started with that in just a second here, but yeah, essentially today, I'm gonna have my ears open, for one, just to let you guys know what I'm hearing, how the track sounds, any feedback, things along those lines. But if there are any songs that stand out, that might be a good fit for the label, I'm definitely going to have my ears peeled for that. And I did get everybody's contact information, so if something stands out, if it sounds like a good fit, then I'll definitely be reaching out. Also going to keep my ears peeled to see if there are any songs that have potential. If any of you guys seem to be close or have some potential, maybe I could help you, whether it's finish the track or give you some additional steps or guidance for how to make the song better. I also will keep my ears peeled for that, and I might be reaching out to people too if I feel like, hey, this is a good fit. Maybe I could help you to finish this track or make some improvements. So all around, yeah, that's what we're here for today. And without further ado, I know, yeah, we got like 20, 23 submissions. I say let's dive right in. I will say off the bat, I did notice some some dead links already, so I'll give a heads up. Um, for BD Smith, I think was the first one. I noticed the link, the SoundCloud link, was dead. So what's the best way to send it to me? Maybe you could drop it in the chat. I see BD Smith is in the chat, so yeah, drop the link in the chat, and we'll get you after Palisades. But yeah, that's about it. You guys ready? If you guys are ready, let me see some ones in the chat or something. Emojis, your favorite emoji in the chat. If you guys are ready to get started, you guys ready to do it? All right. Hell yeah, looks like a yes. So quick sound check, sound test. Can you guys hear this? Sound check, we good? Any echo or anything like that? Everything sounds good, quality? Okay, cool. Let me know if for whatever reason there's echo or whatever, any of that nonsense. And I'll just mute my mic too as a precaution while it plays. But yeah, I'm gonna let the full song play and then give feedback at the end. Unless there's something huge that sticks out, then I'll stop it in the middle. But I want to let the whole song play, and then we'll go into it afterwards. But yeah, that's it. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Here we go. We got Flow So Sick from Palisades. Here it is.
Yeah, my flow so sick.
Yeah, we'll cut it there. We'll stop it there. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Say overall, energy of the track is great. The vocals are solid, catchy. I think the arrangement, I would say the arrangement and the writing are definitely strong, are definitely solid here so far. The biggest thing that stands out to me that needs some work, that needs some improvement here is going to be some of the mixing details, as well as maybe some of the sample selection. One major thing that I'm hearing is that the kick sounds a little bit flat. It has a lot of, like, it definitely has a lot of like the mid frequencies and the high frequencies in it, but it seems to be missing the punch, the thud in the low end. Like, it doesn't have a lot of low frequencies, and so there's a few potential issues here. There's a few things to consider. Usually the most important thing is when you're having an issue with a kick, with a sample, with drums, or really anything. Like, the most important, or the best, or the easiest way to fix it is to go back to what I would call like the earliest stage of the process. So in this case, if we were to follow that train of thought, going back to the earliest stage of the process really comes down to sample selection. Right? You could spend all day trying to EQ and beef up and juice and layer and add R bass and everything to every kick and bass in your mix, but if you find yourself having to do that, it's probably a symptom that something is off in the earlier stage of the process. Now, that may be the case here, But what I'm also hearing is just generally there's a little bit of mud in the low end in this mix. And I wonder, I kind of hear, like, to me, it sounds like you have the kick, you have like the rumble, the sort of like the secondary, not the kick, but the rumble that's kind of like, yeah, like in between the kicks, right? Like the reverse kick or however it's made there. But, it sounds like there's that, and maybe there's also an additional bass. Like there's maybe something else in the low end. Like maybe something that's been layered. There's like maybe one or a few additional things in the low end that don't need to be there. Like in this kind of song, to really get your kick and your rumble to really like slam and hit the listener and hit the speakers and hit everybody in the club, like there should be nothing else really in the low end other than the kick and the rumble. So you want to make sure that you don't have too much going on down there. And you'll also want to check to make sure that things are sidechained properly, like everything is sidechained properly for the kick to cut through. I would say probably the biggest thing here is going to be the sample selection. You may need to go back to the sample search process, find a kick that has more low end. And I mean like sub frequencies. This is actually one of the most common things I see producers miss, is evaluating the low frequencies, the sub frequencies of the kick. Is it hitting in the 30, 40, 50, 60 hertz region? Like, yes, you could throw on span or look at an EQ, but more important is that you train your ear to listen and evaluate when you hear the kick. Is it hitting deep down in the low ends? Because that punchiness in the low end, that is really the body of the track. So, I would audit the mix, the low end, to see if there's anything funky that shouldn't be in there that maybe you need to remove or adjust the sidechain. But I would probably go back to the drawing board in terms of finding a better kick, especially for this kind of song. Now on a similar note, the other things here, I will say that a lot of the synths, like kind of like the one shot and like ear candy and like, the synths that are sort of like thrown in and out of there sound pretty cool. But I do think the mix could use some more high end. Like the clap, it sounds like there's like maybe a very minimal clap in there, but some kind of clap layer that has more high end, and maybe a hi-hat. Like you have a very unique sound as the hi-hat in here, but you might want to layer it with a hat that has more attack, like more just a transient with high end, like the really high frequency information to make the mix a little bit brighter. And again, like instead of doing like fancy like EQing and boosting and trying to like bring high end out of something that's not there, I would say maybe look at some samples, add maybe one layer, maybe for the clap or for the hats. It's going to give that crisper high end for the drop for the track. But otherwise, it's sick. Yeah, I mean, the idea is solid. It's catchy. It has good energy. The writing is good. The melodies and the vibe. The vocal fits the track very well. And I think with cleaning up some of the sound design in the mix here, I think the track will be pretty solid. So overall, good stuff. Nice work. Yeah, let me check the chat here, make sure everything makes sense. It's really just a kick. Yeah, I see some other people saying the same thing. It's definitely the kick. So yeah. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have questions. Yeah, I put my Instagram and my email up here, so you guys can reach out to me. If there's a song that I think is a good fit for the label, I will reach out. But feel free to take my email. It's right there. My Instagram. Feel free to say what's up on Instagram. I try to get back to everybody. Building community out here as well with the BirdHouse. So tap in, say what's up. Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, let's move on. Let's do the next one. Let's do it. So is BD Smith in the chat? I saw the name earlier. Do you want to drop the link? Do you want to drop the SoundCloud link? I'll give you a couple minutes. You sent it. If it's higher up, can you? Oh, it's pinned. Okay. How do I find a pinned comment? Let's see.
Thank you. We can land that tag.
I'll find find it in a second. There it is. Okay, I got it. I'll find it in a second. There it is. Okay, sweet. So here we go. On to the next. We got Feeling Whip from BD Smith. Also, I'll just throw out there too. So for the label, for the BirdHouse Records, you know, we mainly focus on house music, tech house, minimal house, disco house, what I call like the refreshing sounds of house music today. But you know, we're open to techno, we're open to little bass house, little afro house, you know. We're open to those things, but we're focusing really on like groovy, funky house, things along those lines. But I'm game, you know, I'm all ears. Like I love me any genre. Like I said, I used to make dubstep. Like I'm here for it. So I can appreciate all the styles, all the genres. So, but yeah, just to kind of like FYI for the label for the BirdHouse Records. But yeah, let's do it. So we got Feeling from BD Smith. Let's dive in and see how it sounds. Here we go.
Time to be responsible. You're far and close, that's all I know. I wanted you to stay. You swear with running away. Why don't you say that you a liar and just leave them to swear? You send me over the world. Why don't you leave me
Okay, cool. We'll cut it there. Good stuff. Nice work, nice vibe on this track. Good vocals so far. We've had good vocals in both songs so far. So nice choice on the vocals. Or, you know, not sure if you guys are working with vocalists or otherwise, but sounded good. But yeah, I would say overall the vibe of this track is. I think some of the melodies, like the vocal stutter, vocal chop in there is really cool as well. The chord progression is solid with the bass. Definitely some good elements in here, some good potential. But yeah, I think the feedback I have, I'm gonna say is similar to the last track. Like I'm like super like I'm like a sample selection Nazi. Like you might hear me like really just like hammering on that repeatedly here tonight, because that's it's one of the most important and one of the easiest ways to level up the quality of your songs is through good sample selection. It's one of the most overlooked parts of the process. And again, it's the easiest way to level up the quality of your songs. And to be specific here, a similar issue with the kick. So here's I mean, it's similar in the sense, similar to the last song in the sense that the kick is not exactly working right, but we're having a little bit of a different problem. And the let's say the relationship between the kick, the specific kick you have, and the bass, the style of bass in this song are not quite gelling. The reason for that is that your kick has a really long tail. It has it actually has a lot of sub and has a long tail. And it sounds like it's bleeding over into the bass. Even if there is some sidechain, it sounds like it doesn't sound like you just like straight up forgot sidechain. But it sounds like the kick is bleeding over into the bass because it has such a long tail. In this kind of song, like I would use actually a shorter use a shorter kick, or also, compensate for the length of the kick with the curve of your sidechain. So if you're using kickstart or like shaper box or something, you're gonna choose a curve that has a longer release essentially. If you're just using a compressor, then yeah, you're just gonna increase the length of the release. Longer kick means you need a longer release on your sidechain. So we're hearing a little bit of that overlap that's making the low end muddy here as well. I also think that in terms of the mixing here, I think the bass is probably mixed a little too loud. Generally speaking, the kick should almost always be mixed louder than the bass. And here it sounds like the opposite. Here it seems like the bass is louder than the kick. So you wanna dial back the bass a little bit. Either get a shorter kick or increase the side chain, solve that problem. I also think that you'd probably want to kick with either a kick with more high ends, more presence, more punch, or a top kick layer, just so that kick smacks a little bit more. I thought the clap was cool actually. The clap has good energy and the clap fits here. Main thing is really the muddiness, and so if you bring down the bass, you fix the kick, that's going to take care of a lot of the issues in the mix here. Then let's see. Not fully loving this synth in this kind of like bridge or this cooldown section here. I mean, so you have like two sounds, two layers of very, very different sounds and very, very separate layers. Like, and I don't think that. I think you probably here want to go back to the drawing board in terms of choosing a preset or testing different presets. Like, I wouldn't even worry about layering, to start with. Like, go back and try to find like one sound, one preset that just sounds great by itself. Flip through a bunch of different presets. Like these I would say they sound kind of raw in the higher frequency one. The like buzzy one, it sounds very thin. I don't know if it's just the sound itself. Maybe you EQ'd it to try to compensate for layering it with that other like lower pluck. It sounds very thin. And then the pluck also sounds like maybe like a little bit like raw, like kind of like straight out of the box sort of like presets. So I think the melody is okay, but it's the sounds. Try switching up the sounds there for that synth. I think that's about it. Yeah, those are the biggest things that I hear, but I think it's a cool track. Yeah, it's got good energy. The chord progression really, carries the song well. It's a good tune. Bass line is solid. Just get some of that stuff cleaned up, and yeah, you'll be good to go. But yeah, hell yeah. Checking the chat. Kickstart 2 did pull it back. Shorter kick, yes, agreed. Feedback is great. Yep. Loud bass, 100%. 100%. So I see you have your levels there in terms of the kick at -6, and bass at -9. So for one, first and foremost, regardless of the numbers, like really practice like training your ear to hear and recognize these things, right? So if the numbers are saying something, but it sounds like something different, then fuck the numbers. Like adjust the bass so that it sounds good. That's what's most important, right? But on that note, when you're measuring sort of the difference between the kick and bass, you want to get those readings really specifically for the sub bass, not like the whole bass or the whole kick. You want to look at what is the kick hitting, what is the bass hitting, like below 100 hertz. What's the difference between those the readings for those two elements below 100 hertz? And a lot of times you're actually going to see like a 6 dB difference. So you have minus, what is it? Kick is -6, and yeah. So you usually you're going to have a -6 difference. So you might even want to bring that back to -12. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions, yeah, let me know. But maybe look and match by soloing. Yeah. If you can like solo below 100 hertz in span, then yeah, that'll help. But okay, good stuff. All right, let's move on. Yeah, if you guys have questions about the feedback, put them in the chat. I'll try to keep up with the chat, but also feel free to reach out to me. Yeah, you guys got my info there. So, all right, next we got Vacults. Is that how you pronounce that? Vacults, something like that. We got Bong Bong 135 D sharp minor version 2.4. Love it. Love the name. Good stuff. But yeah. Is my mic better? Jordan told me to turn up the mic. Is it better? I think I turned it up as loud as it can go. Can you guys hear me? If it's quiet, let me know. I'll see if I can turn it up louder. But either way, yep. Let's do it. Bong Bong 135. Here we go.
Bring this shit back. Bring it all back. Feel like I'm king of the world. I gotta bring this shit back. I gotta bring this shit back. I don't belong in the trap. I gotta bring this shit back. Bring it all back. I gotta bring this shit back. Bring it on back.
Okay, cool. We'll pause it there. Good stuff. Nice work. Nice work. Yeah, this one sounded solid. Great energy. I thought the second drop sounded cool. Sounded better in my opinion than the first drop. Let's see. Yeah, I thought the sounds in the second drop were cool. First drop is solid. The energy is good. I have some notes in general, but the second drop hit pretty nicely. Hit pretty well. I would say the kick in this one, the low end in this one is definitely better. Is cleaner. It's sounding pretty solid. Maybe not perfect. I think maybe there still could be. I always think maybe there could be a better kick, but that's not my main feedback or critique of the song. First, here let's listen to the transition to the first drop one more time.
Bring it shit back, 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 back. Bring it all back, 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 back.
So I think that the transition to the drop could be smoother. Like I was definitely expecting and waiting for the tension to break sooner. Like it felt like a little too prolonged, especially for the first drop. Like a longer sort of prolonged fake out drop maybe could be cool for the second drop, but here I felt like it was a little drawn out.
Back, 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 back.
Yeah, it seemed like even maybe it's like a little bit busy in that sort of like fake out section. Like it could be. I would probably just shorten it so that it's not as drawn out for this first drop. But if you really wanted it to be that long, what is that, like 4 bars or 8 bars? If you wanted it to be longer, I think you'd have to maybe like clean it up, make it a little bit smoother. Maybe there's a little bit too much going on in there, but just that section wasn't entirely smooth. Okay, so coming back to the song. So one note that I have about the sound design and it's kind of like a writing thing here with all of the riffs, the growls, the synths, like the top line of this drop here. I think in both drops, and particularly in the second drop, there is variation rhythmically, and there's contrast with the sort of like the rhythm and the patterns of the sounds. However, a lot of the sounds are like very similar. Like they seem to all be a little bit, I don't want to say washed out, but it's like they have like reverb, or they have this like ethereal feel to them. Which is, I think audio is working. I see audio's gone. Yeah, audio should be working now. So they have this like kind of like ethereal feel where, I mean, even some of them are like maybe widened or have reverb on them, and they all have that sort of like farther back feeling. And you want to have some contrast between the sounds that are maybe like farther back in the mix versus some that are maybe like dry and like up front in the center, in the middle. So that you have more of that, you have more of a dynamic sounds. Like I think, like especially for the second drop, I feel like the writing, it was really good. But something like that, one that's like dan, 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 like that, like buzzy synth, like you could make that way brighter, like bring that forward, bring that way more to the front of the mix so that you have the first sound that's and you kind of wash it out too. You even like automate the reverb or filter it at the end. But then if you have that next synth hit, like brighter, more up front, more in your face, you'll have contrast between different sounds, because otherwise they kind of like blend together, and it loses that one extra dimension of excitement that you could have in the sounds. So this one is really close. I think it sounds really good. Like these are small details, but I do think that's one thing that could take the song to the next level, is getting more contrast in the sounds, more variation sonically, so that we have more excitement and a more like dynamic sort of experience between all of the top line, the synths, and the riffs and all of that stuff. But hopefully that makes sense. Here we go.
This is all just a dream.
All right, I'll pause it there. Yeah, we'll go one drop. See if we could squeeze everybody in time. But this is sick. This sounds really good. The sound design is really good. The melody is cool. I like the blend of the saxophone in there. The one note, I don't have like a lot of notes for this one. I think it sounds clean. I mean, like the low end on this one is solid. The drum is nice and tight, punchy, and the bass is doing most of the work in the low end. This is a good example of like you have a really fat, long held out bass line, and by contrast, the kick is just short and punchy, right? You don't want like a long held out bass line and long held out like a long tail on the kick. So this is a good example where the kick and the bass are working together nicely. So the one note that I have for this is that I definitely wanted to hear like a snappier snare element. Now it doesn't have to be actually a snare drum. Like I get the vibe, and I feel the sort of, let's say, the squeak sound that's kind of serving as the snare is cool. But I do think we need something in there that's a little bit snappier. It could be it could be a weird percussion sound. It could be like anything with more of a transient. Like the squeak doesn't really have a transient. It's sonically, it's cool, but to really make the beat, like the groove come together, we do kind of need and want that like snappiness in the snare element, a percussive element that's sort of, because actually it takes a while for it to feel like the tension breaks in the drop, and I wasn't sure if it was still like leading somewhere else. But if you have more of a snappier snare element, the beat will be more defined. It'll be clear, like, yeah, this is the tension breaking moment. Kick hits, snare hits, and it'll be a little bit more defined, more clear there. I hear that. Yeah, I do hear like the kick is on like every beat, even with the snare. But I still think that even layered with that, like something again a little snappier, a little punchier would help with that. But this is sick. That's just one small little note. That's easy to fix. I think the song is dope. Yeah, really cool stuff. Saxophone, nice, unique touch. Sound design, unique, good stuff overall. Solid, man. Yeah, nice work. Let's move on. Let's keep going. Looks like we have Dom Disco. Okay. Dom Disco. Okay, cool. Maybe a little disco house here or something. Oh, bass house. Disco bass house maybe. Okay. Intriguing. All right. Yeah, let's check it out. Here we go.
Tell me. Hey, DJ. Tell me. Tell me a story. Tell me a story. Tell me a story. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me. Tell me a story. Tell me a story. You wanna play? Tell me a story. You wanna play? Tell me a story. Tell me a story. Tell me a story. Tell me a story. Tell me.
Okay, cool. We'll pause it there. Overall, yeah, dope stuff. Yeah, solid song. I think the drop is really strong. The melody, the sound design is that bass you have in there is smacking. It sounds good. Yeah, sound design, the kick, the samples in this one are solid. I think the mix for the drop overall is really good. My note for this is actually that the intro feels incomplete. Like the intro does not do the drop justice. Like obviously the drop's got to be more exciting, but like and maybe this is like, I don't know if maybe this is like extended version or not, but even still, like there was like there's a little bit of like a buildup, but I would even like, I mean, a few things here. Arrangement wise, like probably would have a little more of a breakdown before the drop, like remove the kick or bring the energy down even more, just arrangement wise. But also still too, like it feels it feels incomplete with just like the kick and that like low sub bass line. Like it needs, and I know the vocal is in there, the vocal's cool, but it's kind of like, okay, when that starts to come in, it starts to feel a little more full, but that's not until like, you know, like 45 seconds into it. It needs more of like a lead. Like I don't think the vocal isn't quite like a lead sound because it just kind of comes in and out. It's more ethereal. there's got to be some kind of like lead melody or attention grabbing thing in here. Like it feels a little bit incomplete. And again, like, I mean, it doesn't, the drop is sick. The drop is like really good. And so, you know, somebody might,
Story.
it takes a minute until we get to the drop, and somebody might listen to the beginning of this and skip through it because, you know, it sounds a little bit incomplete. And then now you're doing them an injustice. They don't get to hear the dope ass drop in this track. So I think that, yeah, you might want to, I would definitely recommend fleshing out the intro a little bit more. Then the other thing is that I do feel like the drop kind of carries on a little bit too long. You could either, so if it were me, I might like cut to like more of like a cool down section, maybe for like the last 8 bars or something, or like strip it back, or it's like just the kick, and I mean maybe just the kick and the bass. But if you want to keep the energy going, if you could either bring the energy up at the end or bring it down, but don't just keep it going like straight. Like, I know the melody changes halfway through, which is cool, but that doesn't necessarily change the energy. So maybe we want to add in like a ride cymbal for the last 8 bars, or some other element that adds energy. Again, so either end of the drop, or either like bring the energy up with like a ride cymbal and some more excitement, or bring it down. It's like a cool down section where it's like stripped back, like just a kick or something like that. But overall, it's sick. Yeah. Song is dope. Sound design is great. Melody is really good. This definitely has potential. Just bring that intro and verse to life there. But good stuff, solid stuff. Let's keep going. All right, we're on number 7 of 23. We're rocking. We're good. So, yeah, let's just dive right in. We got Twang is the song, and Void Echo is the artist. So, and we got mid-tempo. We got some like bassy mid-tempo stuff in here sounding cool. Good stuff. So yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Okay, cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'll pause it there, but hell yeah. Nice work. Solid sound design and melody here. You know, this to me is this is giving like early Justice vibes to me. You know, like what are this, like Phantom, Genesis, like the Cross album, which is, you know, one of my absolute favorite albums of all time. So, you know, I dig it. I can appreciate that. So cool melodies, cool vibe, cool energy, cool sounds. My biggest note for this one is the arrangement of the track is a bit like unclear and undefined. it kind of feels just like one long section, the same section, just where you kind of bring in the kick and the bass and then take them out. It doesn't feel like the song has like a clear structure, a clear direction, or clear sections. It's missing some of the more important, the subtle arrangement elements, like tension. Like I think there's very little tension in the song. So it feels static. The energy feels static. We don't really have a lot of contrast. There's some contrast with the drums coming in and coming out, but it doesn't feel like we don't have the sort of like tension and release that creates for distinct sections in the arrangement of a song. And now I don't think every song needs like builds up, throw your hands in the air and drop and like go crazy. Like it doesn't need like that standard basic arrangement. But in order for even a 2-minute song, it's not that long, but even for a 2-minute song to be interesting to a listener, it still needs some movement. The energy needs to move, to progress, to build, to come down. And even in like what do you call it? Why can't I think of the term? Like classical piano music. I can't think of the term, but whatever. Let's just say classical piano music, like Beethoven or whatever. Like there's tension and there's build and there's release even in those songs, right? And that's part of what like hooks the listener in and keeps them. Like some of those songs are like freaking, who knows, 13 minutes long, but they have so much contrast and so much tension and movement throughout the song. So that's really the thing here. My biggest suggestion or question even for you would be like, do you have a reference song that you were looking at for the arrangement of the track? Of course, everybody wants to be unique and do their own thing and create something that's unique to them. But it really, especially for arrangement, it really helps in order to make your music accessible and relevant. It really helps to look at, to study reference song arrangement structure, to get something that's again, it's accessible. It's something, I don't know, maybe somebody would want to play it in a DJ set and such. But overall, I mean, this is dope. Like writing and sound design wise, this is sick. This is really cool. I would just love to hear the idea like sort of like structured out a little bit more. But yeah, overall, dope stuff, solid stuff, nice work. Let's move on to the next one. Let's do it. Just catching up on the chat. Tree bark footy. Yeah, you got it, man. No problem. Somebody submitted twice. That's okay. Skip the first one. Robin, skip the first one. Okay. If it comes up on the screen, just like yell at me or shout at me or something else, I'll skip it. But next up, we got a little thickie over here. We got Thread from Thicky. So hell yeah, let's do it. Let's get right to it. Here we go. Boom. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll stick with the one drop for now. But yeah, Good stuff. Lots of cool sounds in the drop. The sound design was cool. Some nice contrast between those different sounds. I think the sound design, the riffs in the drop are solid, are cool. There are two things that stood out to me. First is that the breakdown, the verse here feels a little bit cluttered. Like the idea is not really fully fleshed out here for the verse. Like there are like too many synth melodies playing at the same time. There's like three, I think, different melodies playing. And so it's really hard for the listener to know what to focus on. So it sounds a little chaotic. It sounds a little cluttered. So you could strip that back. Just choose one main sound as the lead melody. Maybe even two. Like I think that there's maybe 3 or 4. I can't exactly tell. But even stripping it back to like 2 to be more of a call and response, just simplifying that so it's a little cleaner, a little more accessible. And then too, for the sound design for the lead, for the synth here, for whichever one it is you choose to bring out as a lead, the sound design could be juiced up a little bit. Like the synths here, they're definitely very kind of like, let's say, thin sounding, like I guess dainty, thin. Like they don't really have like a lot of energy. And I know it's the breakdown, it's not the drop, right? So we don't need necessarily like crazy in your face stuff. But if you could bring the melody to life more here, both in terms of the definition of what is the lead melody and then also the sound itself. Now for the drop, the main thing that the drop needs is definitely, it needs a stronger, brighter snare, like a higher energy, a more like in your face snare. Especially because you have a lot of cool like kind of bass sounds and fills that are like widened, and you have a lot of stereo stuff going on. So considering that, we need like a snare in the center that snaps it back, or like snaps the beat back kind of into the like to relieve the tension, that has the contrast of what's going on the sides, to like sort of like ground the listener in the center when the snare hits. It's like sort of like cool expansive stuff sounds happening, and the snare brings it back to the center for a second, so you get that sort of like contrast and driving effect of the beat. I mean, like here the snare, it's very quiet, but I think it's kind of a thin sound. It's kind of a little bit of like a flimsy sound. Like I think you'll have to go back to the drawing board and choose a bigger snare and mix it more up front and make it louder so that it really stands out and brings the beat together. Like it helps here when you have the kick more on the floor. It helps because you have the kick centering everything every time. But even still, you'll want that brighter, more powerful snare there. But yeah, good stuff overall. Solid. Checking the chat. Everything looks good. So nice work, Thicky. Yeah, let's move on. I see Indigo is saying gotta head out. Your song is next, brother. Are you still here before you leave? Let me know if you want to stick around and get your feedback here. But let's see. Was it? I just saw it. Yeah, is that Indigo? Yeah, you're next. Are you still here? Okay, cool. Yeah, let's get yours. You're next right now, so we'll grab it real quick. All right, we'll dive right in. Let's do it. All right. Okay. Cool stuff. Nice work, man. Yeah, song is cool. I think the writing here is really cool. Very jazzy. This is very kind of like grammatic type beat type stuff. Sounds cool. I like the mix of the bass, the wobbles, the horns, the saxophone, live drum sounds. We get some piano, some stuff. So I like the blend of the live instruments and the heavier bass sounds. So the writing is solid. Sound selection is cool. Biggest thing here again is going to be sample selection. I think that the main thing missing from your track to take it to the next level is going to be the sample selection. The kick is a little bit weak, and I mean, even maybe as a mixing, like potentially the kick just needs to be like 5 dBs louder, but you need a harder slamming, heavier hitting kick to really like drive the speed here. It seems like it's the right style kick. It's just that the way that it's mixed, it just seems the kick feels like very quiet and faint. And I think there's too much reverb in your mix in general because things feel very far away. Like maybe on the rim click, there's too much reverb. The horns have too much reverb. They're too far away. The horns have got to be like a lot louder and more up front. Like everything in the mix seems to feel pretty far away because of the reverb. I mean, the basses don't really have much reverb on them, so they sound. But the horns, I would make way like less reverb, brighter, more up front. Yeah, and your snare and like the rim click in this like kind of clap snare sample there might be fine with less reverb, but it's not punchy enough the way that it's mixed. And I honestly probably the same is true for potentially true for the kick. Like try turning it up and see if it gets the job done, if it's hitting harder. But you may need another kick that has, I think, still maybe some more low end, because like this style kick, this trap style kick is good for like songs that have big fat like long sustained bass lines. And I mean, you have some cool bass sounds in here, but it's not like they're like blasting the whole time. There's a lot of riffs, and it's groovy, and it's the wobbles. So you might need a kick with more low end in it. But yeah. But overall it's sick. There's a lot of potential with this one. Yeah, the sax was great. The writing is really cool. It's very jazzy, so I like it. Just get those drums pulled out of the mix a little bit more, and tone back the reverb. Definitely tone back the reverb. But hell yeah, good stuff. Let's keep it going. So there's something about Starks submitting twice. I only see one from Starks. So if you're still in the chat, I mean, I see something. Crushed version 3. I don't know if you want to listen to that one or skip that one, but okay, later Indigo. Volt cleaned all that up. Does that mean? Only one link. Sure. Oh, it might be that one then. Okay. Oh, doesn't work. Link is dead. So I don't see a second submission from Stark. So if you want to put it in the chat, maybe he took out the wrong duplicate. Just pull up your link, put it in the chat. We'll get you next, and we'll do this one. We got a second one from Palisades. How do we want to do this? Should I go through the other people? This is Fancy K and Palisades. So I don't know if this is Fancy K's submission. Is this for? We'll just say that I guess this one's for Fancy K. For sure. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's check it. Let's run it. Here we go.
I go to sleep. I don't. I don't. I don't go to sleep.
Okay, cool. Let's pause it there. Okay, sweet. So the drums sound really good in this one. The low end sounds really good. Yeah, I think the drums and the kick super punchy. Low end is clean. So definitely a better low end execution here from Palisades. Let's see. So yeah, I think the drums and the kind of the bass, like the sub bass, are sounding really good. Probably the strength of the track. I got two main notes for this one. The first is that I think that the drop is a little bit busy with the synths. Like I think it's trying to do like a little too much. The drums and like kind of the groove is I'd say so good that you probably don't need all of that stuff, the extra synths and fills and wobbles, especially at the beginning. Like you could probably have the one like on the downbeat, like bow, like that first little riff, and then let the beat groove. Like if the beat sounds good, the groove is solid in here. Like I think you're trying to fit a little too much in there with all the synths. And some of the sound design is like a little bit I mean, like you got a lot of layers in there. Like there's maybe like too many layers for some of these synths, like the response synths. Like you have this call and response melody, and there's like, you know, three like metallic synth and like mid bass synth. Like there's maybe a little too much layering that the sounds don't quite have like the definition. Like it's, you know, it's one of those cases where like instead of layering, it's always best to like try to find just like one sound that sounds good, that's like nearly all the way there, that's like crushing it. You should have always, when layering, like one main sound that's pretty much like 80% of the way there, and then the layers that you add are just adding like a little bit, like an extra 10%, 20%. You can't take like three okay layers, combine them, and then hope that that's gonna make like a good sound. You have to take like one main good sound. It's like the primary part of the layer, primary layer of the sound, and then maybe you could stack like one or two things on it to fill it out. But so a little bit of like overlayering with the sounds, but also it's just a little bit cluttered, busy. Like I don't think it needs that much. Like it's a good beat, there's a good bass line. And that's the thing, like some of the sounds don't feel like they don't quite fit. Like they feel like just maybe like a little bit like raw or dull in terms of the sound selection, for specifically for like the synths and the fills, right? So that's what I would what's the word, like cut it back to just like the two or three like best sounding sort of like synths and ear candy and then like one shots in there, and just use those, use the best. Like no need to try to cram this full of a ton of sounds when you have a solid foundation for it already. But yeah, overall good stuff, good energy. Drums and the drums and the what was I gonna say? Yeah, the drums and the bass and the low end sounded really clean, sounded sharp. So good stuff, good work. All right, sweet. Let's keep going. Next, we got EJDB. Let's do it to it.
Let's fight this out up on the hill, man. scores. Don't turn your back, you gotta watch out for my surprise attack. Look, you're still learning that. I'm the best out here and I fly the flag, yeah. Never seen before, only catch my face when I hit the floor. Got 1, 2 belts, I have plenty more, so don't test me, boy, or it's into war. My surprise attack, right to the jaw.
Let's fight this out up on the hill, man.
My surprise attack, right to the jaw.
If you pick up.
My surprise attack, right to the jaw.
Let's fight this out up on the hill, man.
My surprise attack, right to the jaw.
If you pick up.
Or it's into war, settling scores. Or it's into war, settling scores. Don't turn your back, you got.
All right, cool. We'll stop it there. Good stuff. Song's off to, I think it's off to a good start. There's a solid idea here. I see we got original vocals. You know, there's some cool lines in there with the vocals, so we got a vibe. It's got, you know, good idea. Concept for the track is solid, is strong. I think the track needs a little bit of work in terms of really the sound design and bringing it to life. Like, you know, it sounds like, yeah, it needs to be developed a little bit more. In a few areas. So definitely the sample selection is one thing that, you know, it's a feedback that I have for a lot of tracks, but just in general, this is a very common thing. The kick,
Right to the jaw.
Let's fight this out up on
the kick could be a little stronger, a little more full. Like this one also is probably like lacking a little bit of low end.
the hill, man.
It does have like a little bit of punch to it. Like it's not like completely flat, but it is missing some low end, and the clap too feels very thin.
Surprise attack, right to.
Like the clap feels like kind of thin and far away. I think maybe because it has some reverb on it as well too. So I don't think that's quite the right clap sample.
Jaw.
If you pick up.
My surprise attack, right to
The bass line as well, I think, could maybe use a little work.
jaw. My surprise attack, right to the jaw.
I think there's a little too, it feels a little bit empty. Like there are some tracks where you can have a bass line that has like these like pauses, like it's like a 1 or 2 beat pause at the beginning of the phrase, I think.
You're still learning, best out of that, yeah. Catch my face, 2 bells, catch my face, my team before, only catch fly the flag, yeah. Never seen before, only catch my face when I hit the floor. Got 1, 2 bells, I have plenty more, so don't
It's actually in the middle of it. It has that one like pause. And in that empty space, it feels like it kind of dies down too much. The energy dies down a little bit. So in terms of writing, I think the bass line could use a little more energy, or fill it up with something else. Like maybe you need more percussion. Like I could hear some more, I don't know, like bongos or like heavier percussion that's filling up that space. If that's the case, if you fill it up some more with some other stuff, then you might be able to get away with having more of like those breaks, those rests in between the bass line notes. There's some other stuff, you know, the contrast from the build up to the drop wasn't quite there.
You're still learning that, I'm the best out here when I fly the flag, yeah. Learning that.
Like you want to filter out the low end from the bass during like the build up. So for contrast, so that the drop hits harder, you know, slap an EQ on the bass in your breakdowns and cut everything below 200 or everything below 150 hertz. So we have contrast. Remove the bass from the build up so that when the drop hits, there's more of an impact. We have more contrast. It feels bigger. It feels more exciting. But yeah, overall, solid stuff. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Like I said, the concept is cool. The vocals are cool. Cool that you got an original vocalist you're working with. Yeah, just needs to be developed a little bit more. Definitely got to bring some detail out of the track there. When the one drop thing, skipping the first drop. I'll try to remember it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm stoked to see a bunch of submissions. I'm happy to do it. I'm not in a rush. If you guys want to stick around and stick it out, I'm gonna get to everybody. But yeah, we got Sylphid Wired for Infinity. Let's do it to it. Here we go. All right, sweet. We'll pause it there. First thing is, first thing I'll say is you have the aesthetic nailed down. Like your name, your artist name, perfectly matches the vibe of the track. Like I almost knew exactly what to expect from the album art and the name. So aesthetic wise, very cool, dialed in. Love that. Branding wise, but now in terms of the music, high energy. I love this kind of like. There's a kind of like the sort of old school rave retro kind of sounds in here. The synths, like even like the virtual self stuff. I know that his project was a throwback to some of that earlier kind of like ravey trancey stuff. So I love the energy. I love the intensity of it. But there's definitely some work to be done. I think mainly in like the mix. I think the mix it definitely needs some work. It's a little bit rough here. First things first is that the whole song is quite harsh, and so I don't know if this is a mastering thing. I don't know if you've preemptively or if you've mastered the track and done any brightening or even like saturation or distortion on the master, because it does sound very bright and very harsh, and it's definitely it's like a bit piercing in the later part. Like here, really, it gets to be too much. So it's definitely. You gotta see what you did with the mastering. See if if you added an exciter or you've boosted something to make the song bright. But also think about the mix and what you have going on here. Like it does almost sound like there's like a white noise layer like going the whole time. That like it's almost like there is some element, some white noise or something that's making it harsh. So you definitely want to clean that up. The other question I have is like, did you put sidechain on anything or everything in this track? I think with this style track, with that really driving kick, I think everything needs some sidechain because it sounds really cluttered. Like the low end a little bit sounds cluttered. I think that there's some sound in the low end that's like you have a bass. It's more like the dun, 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 like the actual bass, but then there's some like low frequency thing. Maybe it's just the bass. Like I hear this like fast, this like clicking sound. I don't know, maybe you have two bass layers, but it sounds like there's maybe a little too much going on in the low end. I wonder if some sidechain or adjusting the sidechain would fix that. But there may be like an extra thing in the low end that isn't necessary. Because yeah, overall the mix sounds chaotic. Like the melody, the bass line, like the progression is sick, and the synth leads are pretty sick. It's just like overcooked. That's one word I would use. Like the synths are like over processed, distorted, or overcooked, and then it's a little cluttered and messy. So clean things up. Maybe reduce some of the processing, distortion, and stuff like that, and yeah, see if you can get this cleaned up, because I think it's a good idea. And again, yeah, great aesthetic. So got some potential for the project here. Just yeah, gotta clean it up a little bit. But all right, sick. Let's go next. We got C F A flat house. Love it. It sounds like a great chord progression. So yeah, you got it. Fute Bon. Yeah, for sure. So mixing and mastering. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely something that takes practicing. Feel free to get in touch, reach out. Happy to throw some additional pointers for mixing and mastering. So yeah, I know it's not one of those things that you could just guess and like magically get mixing and mastering right. It does take a little bit of technical skill, knowledge, process, and stuff like that. So yeah, would be happy to give you some more detailed feedback. That would be helpful. But yeah, for sure. Let's move on to Smooverita. We got CFA flat house 1.3. Let's do it. Yeah. All right. Cool. Good stuff, man. Nice stuff. Very vibey. I like the melody, the chord progression. Sounds cool. The synths are vibey. I like the melodic kind of angle on the track. We got our like classic kind of dead mouse cascade pluck synths in there, which are always fun, always a vibe. So I dig it. Overall, good stuff. One thing is that like I feel like you could set up the drop a little bit better. Like you could create more tension in the buildup, but also create the storyline, the arc of the song a little bit better by introducing those pluck chords in the buildup. That the sort of like kind of classic progression. Have those pluck chords, have the cutoff close significantly, and like ease it in in the build up a little bit, so that it teases kind of the vibe of the drop. Because like I knew that it was a house song just from this, but like the build up was like we don't get the kick or anything until the drop. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, if you could kind of tease the drop a little bit more, maybe adding like a small kick to it, but definitely I think that bringing those filtering in those pluck chords. Again, definitely keep the cutoff closed. Don't give away the full sound until the drop. But add a little more tension, build, and tease the chords a little bit more in the builds up. I do think that the cutoff on the synths, it's mainly that one main synth, right? Like, it is mainly that one synth. Like, I feel like I definitely think we need, like, the cutoff on that is it's open a little bit too much too often. Like you have the ability to kind of like create a dynamic with this sound where you sort of like alternate from the more reserved, closed cutoff, tighter sound, and open up the cutoff more sparingly, because it feels like too open, and it does make it feel like kind of like thin, like it loses its definition, right? When the cutoff is open, you're letting all that high end out. It's not as much of a pluck. It doesn't have the same attack and transient, so it feels like a little less defined. So you could tighten that up in places, probably like across the board. It could be closed a little bit more to tighten that up, but it also will give you room to automate it and open it up in different places. Other than that, I mean, I think you could use maybe some like a stronger hi-hat in there. The hi-hat's a little bit static, so it's just a little flat. The energy is flat. Like the clap feels like a little bit like the samples feel like a little bit. I mean, they feel a little bit lo-fi. So I mean, if that's the vibe you're going for sure, like kind of lean into it. But as is, I feel like they don't have enough energy. But that's it, man. It's cool. I like the melody. I like the chord progression. Sounds cool. Solid stuff, man. So hell yeah. But yeah, let's move right along. Let's go. We got Shroomy up next. Then just for anyone that's watching for the order, just so you guys know, we got Criminal Agent next. We got Hard Case, then Blaster, then Command Escape, then Casual Dialect, Munchkin Cat, Phobie, Space Case. That's the order. I plan on getting to all of them. We're approaching the 2-hour mark, but no worries. I'm good for it. I'm good to go. So let's get through all of them. Let's do it. Here we go. We got Rewinds from Shroomy. So let's do it. Let's dive in.
And I've been thinking about you all the time. Memories of you I can't rewind. And I've been thinking about you all the time. It's memories of you I can't rewind. And I've been
Sweet, we'll pause it there. Good stuff. I like the drop. I like the switch up. Cool drop, cool switch, cool effect there. I like the vibes of this song. Yeah, I think the rating is good, especially the arrangement, the way that progresses into the drop. I think the snare could be stronger. It sounds like a decent sample, but it's kind of quiet. Like I think that you need like a fatter snare, because like it's a pretty minimal arrangement. You have like your kick, your bass, the vocal chop, the snare. Like you need a fatter snare to take up a little more space. The snare feels a little bit weak. The other thing is, I would probably process that vocal chop a little bit more. Like that sound, you could probably bring it to life some more. Like process it, maybe even like, I don't know, like layer it or saturate it, or, you know, brighten it. Like it feels a little bit dull. Like the writing is sick. I like the way it comes in and plays throughout the drop, but it feels like somehow dull. I would also, it does also feel static, like it doesn't change up until like further on here. Like I might automate it or change it up sooner, like have it move. Don't like, cause it plays kind of like static. It plays like for like almost 30 seconds. It kind of just plays the same thing. So I'd have that vocal chop, give it a little more movement, even just variation. I know you give the little, like, I don't know what it says, but I think it could use like a little more movement or variation. And then in this section, so I would make the vocal chop basically becomes the lead because you don't have any more of those bass sounds. So I would make that vocal chop way more in your face, like in the mix, bring it out a lot more, make it more exciting. Like, and even just like louder, maybe layer it, like maybe could use like a octave lower layer or something to fill it out. It just feels like, it overall feels like the mix could be filled out more, but not necessarily with like adding more stuff, but just with like juicing up the sounds that you have in there, maybe swapping some of the samples like the snare. The writing is sick, the writing is great. Yeah, so and the second drop sounds cool too. Just needs to be like juiced up and filled out a little bit more, but it's solid. So overall, good stuff, man. Nice work. All right. Here we go. Let's keep it moving. Criminal Agent, you're up. Ravioli Won't Stop. Okay, AI crap edited with actual production. Okay, cool. Interesting. So some part of this was made by an AI and part of it was an original production, it sounds like. So either way, cool. I'm down. Let's check it out. Here we go.
Well, you gotta listen up, causing chaos in the chat. Rules we made for your games, time to change, gotta take the rap.
Spamming nonsense, bringing rage, disrupting fun, it's so damn clear. We're here to chill, not lose our heads. Your antics we won't endure. Ravioli, stop it, quit being dumb in the server. Ravioli, knock it before we hit that band hammer. Ravioli, hear us out, let's keep the vibe on track. Ravioli, cut it and maybe we can party back. Ravioli, gotta listen, causing chaos in the chat. For the street, thanks for your games. Time to change, starting to rap. Spamming nonsense, bringing rage, disrupting fun, it's so damn clear. We're here to chill, not lose our heads. Your antics we won't endure. Ravioli, stop it, quit being dumb in the server. Ravioli, knock it before we hit that band hammer. Ravioli, hear us out, let's keep the vibe on track. Ravioli, got it, and maybe we can party back.
Keep your watch, warnings given won't take much. Still you push it every night, and there's mad to see the light.
Ravioli, gotta say we want you here, but not this way. Respect the stream. Ravioli, got it, and maybe we can party back.
Everybody bounce!
Onita, I have a dick.
All right, there we go. Cool stuff. All right. love the energy, the intensity. Samples are in the end there. Yeah. My speakers have the tism for sure. Yeah, it was quite loud. So few things. I feel like the verse is pretty good here. The vocals are cool.
We won't end it. Let's keep the vibe on track. On it before we hit back.
So my issue is that like I get the vibe and I get, you know, even the name of lewd style. Okay, so it's supposed to be kind of like what's the word, like edgy and stuff like that. The drop seems to come out of nowhere. Like it doesn't quite fit. Like it doesn't. It seems like it's a completely different song. Like it's a hard cut to a new song. It's because everything changes. Like the chord progression changes, the sounds, like everything. The energy changes too much. And I know like the effect here is to have that kind of like jarring sort of sound, you know, with this type of style, this type of drop, but it's too much. Like you can't change everything because otherwise it just feels like it's a hard cut. And then here too, like it modulates, it changes to a different key.
We can party.
It changes to a completely different key, so it feels like a little bit all over the place. And you have like 3 different drops here. Which is cool. I like the sounds. I like this is cool. This first drop is a little too, like the kick is a little too much. Like the mix isn't quite right in this first drop. Like this second drop, the mix is a lot better. It feels cleaner. But the biggest problem is the arrangement. You know, so what's this? Reminds me of like Lil Texas. I admit I listened to a bit of Lil Texas in my time here and there. This reminds me of this. He has that remix of like "We're Gonna Die Young" or whatever. Mixing the first one is why I want. Oh, so I missed your. I remember that was you for sure. Okay, AI generated part is not my idea in the drop. Yeah, so it sounds like that. Yeah, that's how it sounds. So I would try. You could make a drop that's more like reflective of the you know, the verse, the breakdowns. What is that? Yeah, Lil Texas has that remix of Die Young. Have you heard that? It's actually pretty sick.
I hear your heartbeat gonna die young.
And see, so he like teases the energy in the drop, like
Die young. Let's make the most of the night.
like it's a similar intro to yours, but he teases, like it doesn't just hard cut to the hard style, like he teases, he builds the energy here, he brings in the drum.
Let's make the most of the night like we're gonna die young. Heartbeat to the beat of the drums. Oh, what a shame that you came here with someone.
Yeah, so like it's similar, right? But again, the transition is smoother. This is a great reference song for you. If you haven't heard this, I like this song. I mean, I guess Lil Texas is like the most like commercial or like vanilla hardstyle artist, I guess. But I don't know. I like it. I think it's cool. Also, I see Jordan says play that private track. I'll play it at the end. I'll get through everybody, and then I'll play mine at the end for you guys. But all right. But yeah, that's okay. So let's come back to yours. Overall summary. Yeah, tie the drops together with the like verses a little bit more. Maybe have a little more like cohesiveness even across the different drops. Tease the energy like in the build-ups, like have a more pronounced build-up that leads us into the drop, and just clean up the structure there. But that's it. Let's keep going. We got hard case, blaster, command escape, casual dialect, munchkin cap, phobie, space case. 7 more. Here we go. Let's do it. All right. Sweet, sweet. Let's do it. Here we go.
We don't know what reality is. We don't know what life is. We don't know what time is. We could be dreaming in this at this moment. We don't know. None of it makes any logical sense.
All right, sweet, sweet, cool, man. Good stuff. Great energy. Great energy in the track. Album art is cool too. I like the the little Alan Watts vocals as well. Always a nice touch. Definitely some cool sounds and sound design and fills in the drop here as well too. So overall, solid energy. My My biggest feedback is that the transition from the build up to the drop was not quite smooth. Like, it was unexpected. Like, it didn't quite feel like the timing or something somehow was not quite right. Like, it actually feels like it comes in like 2 bars early, actually, based off of the metering. If anyone knows what the term means, metering is, the music, the sort of like structural music theory component that's not notes, like the structure. Like, it feels like it comes in 2 bars early. Like, yep, it comes in 2 bars early or 2 bars late. Actually, no, 2 bars early for sure. So anybody that's a DJ that's used to, counting, keeping time, keeping track of the metering, would feel that right away. So it's literally it's 2 bars early. So you got to extend the buildup by 2 bars. That's the main thing. I think actually the transition into the drop of the fill is actually probably fine. Just try to figure out like how you ended up with 2 less bars than you need, and just extend that out. I felt like the first drop was pretty solid. Some stuff here is clipping, like this sample, it's like distorted. It's clipping here. Like that little melodic transition. It's over distorted. Like I can hear the crackles. It's distorted. And I heard something else. It must be the same sound filtering in here. It has too much distortion. It's also crackling. I hear too much distortion on that. The second drop was a little bit busy. Too much going on. I think you don't need the extra kicks. Like try just getting rid of the extra kicks and just having the cut that back a little bit. Yes, dial it back with the kicks, and I think that'll help to clean it up. I think it's good though. I mean, yeah, you nailed the first drop. You got the energy there with the first drop. So just like clean up some of this other stuff, and yeah, man, you'll be good. Good stuff. Sweet. Let's keep going. Blaster up next. Prodigy. Okay, sick. We got a remix of a Prodigy song. Let's hear it. I'm with it. Here we go. Sick. I'll stop it there. I'm gonna say this song has a lot of potential. The writing and the arrangement is sick, is great. It's the mix and the sound design are holding the track back a little bit, but I think there are things that you could fix, and if you do fix, this track would be an absolute banger. Definitely mainly the mixing stuff here. So let's see. First things first, like so. I'm not sure which part of it is sampled from the original song. Probably the vocal, no good for me. But the synth melody here is sick. It's great, but it sounds so thin and small and quiet. It sounds faint. It doesn't have the energy that we need it to. It sounds like it's been EQ'd. Like it's just been like cut to like overcooked or like over EQ'd. There's like no sound to it. It needs to be louder, it needs to be fuller. Maybe you need something with an octave lower layer to help fill it out, because the synth, like that's got to be up front. That melody is sick. The sound is cool too. Like, I don't even want to say replace the sound. I want to say take that sound and fill it out and bring it to life some more. Okay, cool. Only the vocals. Sweet. And then the other thing here is going to be the kick and balance. The kick and bass balance. The bass is way too loud versus the kick. So you got to bring the bass down a little bit and bring the kick up. I actually think you have a great kick sample in there. It sounds like the kick just has to be louder and the bass has got to be quieter. The one thing that I think you probably would have to replace is the clap. The clap feels like a little bit weak. Like it's kind of soft. Like it's kind of like, yeah, it's not punchy. Like you need a punchier, harder hitting clap. And like turn the hats and the percussion up. The hats and percussion are, I think the bass is just eating everything up. The bass is way too loud. Bass way too loud, that's the main thing. And is it sidechained? Make sure it's sidechained properly. Because I think this is sick, dude. Yeah, this is really good, really good kind of, writing and arrangement here. The energy is great. Just take care of the mix. Take care of the mix and some of the sound design stuff, and this will be a banger. So yeah, I think there's definitely some potential here. So good stuff. All right, hell yeah, let's keep going. All right, we got Command Escape up next, the man himself. Let's go. We got Sweet Like Miami. Okay, here we go. Let's do it. Bada bing, bada boom.
They call me. They call me Candy. They call me.
All right, sweet. Good stuff. Good energy. The writing on the bass line is great. It's solid. Really good. good bouncy melody, good groove to it. Sounds solid. The vibe of the vocals is cool. Definitely sets kind of the tone for the song. Working really well, sounding really good. Let's see, I have a few notes for this one. I mean, I think this one sounds pretty good. I just have a few little notes really here. Let's see. I would say that the what do you call it? The breakdown feels a little bit empty. Like it could use maybe like a pad or like especially right there at the very beginning. Like it really comes down in energy a lot, and there's not a lot going on there.
They call me.
Then the vocals come in. So I wonder if maybe you could use the vocals more somehow to fill up the space. Like it does feel a little bit empty. Like maybe you could use a pad or an atmosphere, something just to give a little more, really just to fill up the space in the breakdown here.
They call me Candy, 'cause I'm
The other thing is, like, I almost wanted to say, like, the vocals were, like, a little bit out of time somehow, but I'm actually not sure. The thing is, it's hard to tell because you don't have anything in here, like, keeping time, like a hi-hat or a percussion or something, or, like, any kind of, like, steady rhythm element. So they might be perfectly in time, and it's just kind of hard to tell. So I would probably add in something like a hi-hat, some percussion or anything, even if it's like, like a clock ticking sound or whatever, but that's in time, that keeps time, just so that the we can get a sense of the downbeat and the timing for the vocals and everything like that. Now I do think that the writing for the bass line is solid, is strong, but I think that the bass could just be a little bit more in your face. Like it feels full. It has like a lot of body to it, but it's like almost like too much, kind of like low end or low mids. We don't have something that's really like in your face, like a layer that has more like grit, or it's more distorted, or more a brighter layer. Like you have some layers in there that are like, you have a little bit of that in there. Maybe you don't even need to add something. Maybe you just need to bring those like top layers out some more so that this has more presence and it's a little more in your face. Because the drop is pretty minimal. It's like just kick, bass, hat. Like, so there's room to take that bass, have it fill up the whole frequency spectrum, even the higher frequencies as well. Which I think it's doing. Like, I think the sounds are in there. You just got to bring it out a little bit more, whether it's like the leveling or EQing, boost the high end, like bring out more of that presence in that bass. Otherwise, it sounds cool. The vibe is great. It's it's dark. The energy is there. The melody's cool. So it sounds good. It sounds solid, man. But yeah, hell yeah, good stuff. Awesome work. That's good stuff. Let's keep moving on. Let's move on to the next one. We got Casual Dialect, Munchkin Cat, Phobie, and Space Case. All right, let's do it to it. Pause it there. My mic's still on, right? I forgot to mute my mic. That's all right. Yeah, vibey, really vibey track. Cool sampling, and the guitar and the other some, like piano, some other like live sounds in there, really blended in there, really nice, very chill vibes. Kind of like in between lo-fi and house, feeling that. So digging that. Yeah, I think overall this is really cool. It's a really cool. You have a really cool sound here. The sound selection, the sound design is solid. I kind of think the biggest feedback I have really here is like kind of like arrangement and mix details that could kind of like make the song more interesting, like hold the listener's attention. It definitely felt like a little bit static by the end of this kind of like second drop section. I actually don't know if it even really needed to be that long. Like you could consider shortening the tail end of this, or if not shortening it, really adding something with more energy at the end to really change it up, make it feel like it's moving, like it's evolving. Like I think you add in like little percussive elements here and there, but it doesn't feel like it changes enough. There isn't enough movement on the tail end of this drop. Now the other thing is that now, along the same note, what also kind of makes it feel like it drags a little bit are these sections here, like first this section here from like 30 to a minute, and then it's pretty similar to this section here. And so that section is kind of missing like a lead element. It doesn't have like a focal melody or lead component for like the listener to focus on. And so when that even though the groove is cool, the bass line is sick, the sounds are sick, there's cool stuff in there. If there isn't a clearly defined lead, it's easy for the listener to lose focus. It's easy to lose the listener's attention, basically. And so what I would do, I don't even think you need to add anything there. I think that I would just take that guitar. It sounds like it's really filtered and kind of washed out. Like I would start with it more filtered and washed out, like it is, but then maybe like remove the filter, somehow bring the guitar more forward up front in the mix for these sections. Like it is the lead melody, but it's just so filtered. It's almost like you want to focus on that, but you can't quite do it. And then you could filter it back out and the vocals come in, bring it out in the drop a little bit. You could play with that, and that's an element that would help make the arrangement a little more dynamic as well too. So I mean, yeah, I think it's a really solid song. I think it's cool, the vibe and the sounds. You just got to play with the arrangement and the movement and some of the mixing things to always be aware of like what should the listener be focusing on right now, like what's the lead focal element, and make sure it's really clearly defined and such, because that's an important part of the writing, but also the arrangement, because like I said, you could lose the listener's attention if you don't have that. But yeah, aside from that, it's sick. I think this is an awesome track, so nice work, man. Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Looks like we got 3 more. We got Munchkin Cat, Phobie, and Space Case. Let's do it. Nasty from Munchkin Cat. Here we go. Let's do it.
I piss on the motherfucker. I ain't gonna touch it. I piss on it.
Why you got to say nasty shit, Ray?
Cause I'm a nasty motherfucker.
Everybody feel it, come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. Everybody get down when we give it to them. Everybody feel it, come around with the rhythm, it's a sound. Everybody get down.
That's some nasty shit.
Everybody. everybody feel it, come on, everybody feel it, come on, everybody. Other motherfuckers wanna damn when we give it to them.
Nasty. Fuckers. That. Motherfuckers wanna. That. Fuckers wanna.
Oh, I'm a nasty motherfucker.
Other motherfuckers wanna make another nasty.
Alright, cool, good stuff. Yeah, solid track. Lots of cool riffs in here. I thought the last bit of that drop was really sick.
Oh, I'm a nasty motherfucker.
Yeah, that part there. I mean, the whole thing was solid. Really, great energy. Sound design is solid for the most part. But there's one big thing that I think is an easy fix. One big thing that's really holding this track back, and it is the sample selection for the drums. Like, the kick is like very weak compared to the rest of the track. The kick has like no low end. It almost feels filtered. It's such a small, short kick. Like, it really is lacking the energy and the punch that the song needs. The rest of the track is like huge. You got these huge sounds and this like tiny little kick. Like, upgrade that kick. Like, gonna be like night and day difference. And I mean, specifically a more full kick with more low end. It's easy for somebody to just to say, oh, you need a better kick. But I mean, to be specific, like this,
when we give it to them, everybody feel it, come around.
It actually does. It literally sounds like it's filtered, like it's high pass, like it has no low end. I don't know if like there's mistakenly an EQ on it. It sounds like it could be a top kick, actually. You know what I mean? If you're layering kicks. But yeah. So definitely probably longer, but just in general, a more full kick. So the length would affect how full it sounds, because if you're cutting the tail really fast, the bass doesn't, the body of it doesn't have enough room to really like to jump out even. So but it does, yeah, again, like it sounds like it's quite high pass.
With the rhythm, it's a sound, everybody get down.
The snare too, same thing. I think you could replace the snare, a heavier snare, harder hitting snare, more body, a fuller snare. Because again, the bass, synths, leads, fills are all huge. They sound great, but then you have like little kick and little snare, so they're not quite matching the energy of the track. So honestly, I think if you swap those things out, then this will be a banger. Track is almost there. Just work on those drums, and you'll be good to go. You'll be ready to rock. But nice track. Not too much EQ, but the length. It's just the length, so it could be it. All right, cool. Well, let's keep going. Voices, placeholder vocals, no worries, got it. Okay, we'll play. It looks like it's got a long drop. That's our. We'll play part of it. Let's do it. All right, sick. Good stuff, man. Song's really cool. Yeah, we got our like Rufus Du Sol type synths in there, super vibey. The kick is huge, sounds really good. The bass sounds bad. This is like Witch House meets like house music, like bass house or something. If you guys know Witch House, so it's really cool. It's really vibey. No, I like the song is sick. I just have a few subtle notes, a few small notes. First thing is like, so it's never the length of the song that's a problem. Like there's no like too long of a song, like right, like Strobe by deadmau5 is what it's like fucking, it's like 9, 10, 11 minutes long, right? It's not the length of the song, it's the movement, it's the progression, it's the evolution of the song. And so like and you could even like, even from you saying, oh like sorry it's long, it has like, even you kind of know like from what you're saying, I know that you kind of know that it feels a little bit long in places. And I would say like from like from here, from 1 minute on till 2:30 sounds great. It keeps building, it's progressing, it's moving, it sounds awesome, but it has a slow start. That's where it feels long, is the intro. Like those first like 40 seconds kind of feel like a little bit drawn out. Like a little more like movement or ear candy fills in there, something like it doesn't really, like I said this about another song, like we don't really have like a lead. Like maybe you want to introduce some like little vocals. Wait, you said something about placeholder vocals, right? I think you said that. So maybe you, I mean, the vocals in here are sick. Like I wouldn't get rid of those, but it's like I would put some of those in the intro to make it a little more interesting. And then also at the 2:30 mark is where it starts to like drag on. Like this last section here is like, okay, this is where it starts to feel like a little repetitive. Now here's the thing, the big like sort of mix or sound design thing that you need to, you need a snare with more smack. Like you could keep that snare you have, but layer it with like something that has more like smack, like punchier or sharper, so that because it feels buried. You have this really like low tonal snare, so it's really buried in the mix. But if you could layer it with something, it's funny, like you could even take that snare and move it up an octave and layer it with itself. That could be cool. That could make something interesting. But if not that, something else that has more smack and higher frequencies. And now I say that because then at the 2:30 mark, you do this. I was thinking this. You already do this, but it's not obvious. So you remove the snare at 2:30, but it's like you hardly notice because the snare is so low and buried. But if you have a more present snare, higher energy snare, when you remove it at 2:30, it's gonna make a bigger difference, and that's gonna feel more like there's gonna be more contrast. It'll feel like a proper cool down section. So so the two arrangement things, intro moves a little slow, 2:30 mark starts to get repetitive. You could fix that, put the vocals in the intro, switch up the snare, have a little more contrast for that last section, you'll be good. But this song is sick, dude. Yeah, I think it's really cool. So nice work, very vibey, very unique. So yeah, good stuff, man. All right. We got last up, we got Space Case, and we'll wrap up. I'm down to play one of my own songs for fun, just to show you guys what I'm working on, and also just, wrap it up here at the end and talk about how to connect, where you can find me, and we'll go from there. But let's do it. Carthage from Space Case. Here we go. Bada bang, bada boom. right, sweet, good stuff, good stuff. High energy. The vocal chop is cool. The writing here is great, is solid. The arrangement is really good. The melody, yeah, the drop hits well, but the notes that I have here are mainly on the mix, and I want to say the master, maybe the master as well, but it could be a bit of both mix and master notes. I'll start with just the one sound design thing, one sample selection thing here. This is an example of a song where you have an 808, so you have a really long, full, held out bass, like long, boomy bass with the 808. So you don't need a kick with a lot of low end, like, or at least not with a long tail. And this kick has kind of a longer tail, like almost like a little too long. Like you might want a shorter, punchier kick. It also feels like, I mean, that's really the main thing. Like I wouldn't take a kick like this and then shorten it, like drawing a fade or something, because you can like warp the kick. Like it's not ideal. Like best case scenario is find another kick. It's a little shorter, a little punchier, because also we don't want that kick to interfere with the 808, right? We want the kick to hit nice and punchy, and then the 808 takes over. You could actually probably turn up the 808, and there'll be more room for that if you find a shorter kick. Maybe you could try shortening this kick. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to say never shorten the kick. So you could try shortening the kick a little bit, and then turn up the 808, bring out that bass a little bit more. Now, some of the mixing and mastering stuff, the mix is a little bit harsh in places. Like the master might be a little bit too hot. Like it's definitely noticeable here in the build. Like it sounds like a little distorted. Like it might be hitting a limiter too hard. Like it's a little bit too hot. It could be maybe there's like one too many things in here that's cluttering it up and things are fighting and it's making it sound harsh. But I also think it's the master potentially. Because here, like, it sounds a little, like, dirty in places, like, a little, like, kind of ducking, kind of distorted. I think it's hitting a little bit too hard. And you know what, to be honest, the kick maybe is a little too loud. When with the low end and the tail from the kick, it's maybe the kick is hitting too much, and that might be hitting the limiter too hard. That, like, you might be trying to make the song as loud as you can, as loud as you want, and the kick might be preventing you from making it as loud as you want. So kick with like a shorter tail here, punchier, but maybe it doesn't even need to be so loud. Might allow you to push the limiter even harder to get the song louder without the ducking, without the clipping. But yeah, otherwise it's a sick song. Great energy. Writing is cool. The vocal chop is sick. So good stuff. Nice work overall. And yeah, that pretty much brings us to the end of everybody that I have here, and that's probably a good place to call it. But overall, I just want to say awesome stuff. Lots of great songs. I'd say lots of unique, interesting sounds, lots of potential. Some songs that are really close to finish, close to being, ready to release and stuff like that, but just need a little work. So overall, solid work. Want to say thank you, shout out to Jordan for having me on. It's been cool checking out the tracks. Just in terms of where to find me, my Instagram and my email is there. So, feel free to shoot me tracks or hit me up on Instagram, say what's up, say hi. Like I said, I work with a handful of producers in the BirdHouse community, helping them finish songs, get signed to labels, grow their brands, move their music forward. So I'm definitely down to connect and give some pointers, see if I could help you move in the right direction, whether it's the music stuff or the business stuff. So feel free to reach out. Again, my personal focus is house music, tech house, minimal house, disco house. the label. We're kind of focusing on that stuff too, but we're open. Bass house, techno is cool. But personally, like, I work with producers who make dubstep, techno, trance, whatever. It's just about helping people to make good music. I have diverse music tastes. I listen to Lil Texas, I listen to some house music, I listen to some dubstep, so whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, we have more live viewers in Space Yacht tonight. That's what's up. Love to hear it. So I guess to wrap it up, I could play one of my own tracks. I have like an ID. So I just finished a song actually that I just made this specifically to play for at an after hours club, a warehouse we have in SF. I played a few weeks ago. It was sick. I was like, I gotta make a song for this place to play next time. So I'm playing there on Friday. If anybody's in the Bay Area or SF, I'm playing Halcyon, and we have a BirdHouse takeover after party. The afters is probably more lit than the main event actually, but I'll just play a little bit of the song just to show you guys what I'm working on. And then we'll call it a night. We'll wrap it up. But I'll just start it from, let's see here. Pause it there, but thank you guys. Thank you. Jordan says I need this. I'm gonna test it out this weekend, make sure it sounds good in the club. Then happy to send a copy. Thanks guys, glad you enjoyed it. But yeah, thanks again for having me on. Definitely maybe I'll be back. Maybe we'll do like a mix down session or something, maybe review some more tracks. This was fun. Great squad, great crew here. So yeah, you guys know where to find me. Now let's connect. Keep crushing it. Let's get those songs finished, crushed, released. Good stuff. Love to see it. And that's it. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.